Hi, my name is Colleen Gibson, and I would like to take a moment to tell you about my teaching philosophy. But to do that, I need to take a step back and tell you about two very important people in my life, Kyle and Casey. Kyle is my younger brother. When I was 9 years old, I was finally granted my ultimate wish, a sibling. I'd spent years wishing for one, and I finally got what I asked for. There was one major difference between Kyle and I, though: our age. With nearly a 9-year difference, I assumed more of a maternal caregiver role for Kyle. I loved teaching him anything and everything I possibly could, and I still do. From helping him with his homework to his athletic skills, I absolutely loved instructing and teaching him. It was from my experience with Kyle that I knew I wanted to become a teacher. When I was about 15 years old, I began working with a local organization as an inclusion aide for Mainstream Park District programs. It was through this role that I met Casey, a young boy with autism and ADHD. Casey was the first individual with a disability that I had the privilege to work with one-on-one for an extended period of time. He is one of the primary reasons I decided to become a special education teacher. He had a way of winning me over right from the start with his charm and persistent questions. He was a character unlike anyone else I had ever worked with, and I absolutely loved every moment. It was during my time with Casey that I learned just what kind of methods and instruction I needed to use to specialize the experience for him, which also led to my realization of what kind of teacher I want to be. Thanks to Casey, I realized how important it is to integrate interesting topics into my curriculum, which requires that I really get to know my students and what they enjoy and love learning about. Thanks to these two very important influences, I realized not only that I wanted to become a teacher, but also exactly what kind of teacher I should be. So with that being said, I believe that specially designed instruction and techniques are key to a successful education. Each student is unique and deserves the time, attention, resources, and effort to reach their full potential. I believe in taking the extra time to ensure that my students understand the curricula and that the lessons should exceed the typical standards. Active learning is far superior to traditional lectures, and taking risks in the classroom is a must. If we continue to do the same thing over and over, teach the same way year after year, there will be no progress. One of the most crucial components before any of that can happen, though, is that the set of laws set forth concerning education must be understood. I am glad that my expertise containing the laws understood about IDEA, FAPE, and various other laws concerning education allows me to understand and act accordingly with the government to provide my students with as many resources as possible. Staying up to date on current laws is one of the most important attributes I possess. By understanding what the government can and cannot offer my students, I am able to learn about the other ways that I can find these resources for my students to better their education. Another important part of being a special education teacher from my perspective is collaboration. My experience working as an inclusion aide, classroom volunteer, and preschool teaching team member have taught me the importance of corresponding with others, dividing up work amongst coworkers and co-teachers, co-teaching, and overall just working as a team player rather than as an individual. The success of my students is the most important thing to me. I'd rather be a contributing member of a team that helps him or her succeed than the teacher too concerned with taking credit to realize what a tremendous opportunity it is to work with other professionals. As a teacher, my goal is to prepare my students for a successful future. While each student's goals will be unique and their futures unknown, I want to at least give them the tools they need to succeed in the future. Whether this means preparing my students for jobs after they graduate or for further education, I want to help my students reach their full potential. What it really comes down to is that I just want to improve the lives of others by making a positive difference in their lives. I hope to do so by creating a learning experience with my students that leaves them with positive memories. I want my lessons to be outside of the box and fun so that students can remember the concepts because they were actively engaged. Hopefully my students remember how much I cared for them and was willing to help them. I want them to know that they can come to me for help and guidance without being fear of looking down on them for their needs. Overall, I just want to make a difference in their lives, and I hope that my students can one day realize that. With that being said, I would like to share one final quote with you from Albert Einstein. He once said, "Everyone is a genius, but if you judge a fish on its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing it is stupid." I love this quote because as a future special education teacher, I understand how amazing and unique all of my students are, but some people do not. It is important to realize that everyone has different abilities, and that doesn't make anyone better or worse than another. But most importantly, it is important not to compare one person to another. Remembering that special education is specialized instruction is key, and I hope to share my knowledge not only with my students but with everyone else so that one day the world will be more understanding and less judgmental of individuals with disabilities. Thanks for watching!